Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Manitoba Maple Syrup Virtual Festival. Our goal is to offer a family friendly, volunteer led festival to celebrate McCurry's designation as Maple Syrup Capital of Manitoba. This year is our first time going virtual and hope you enjoy the show. We look forward to the festival goers getting back to the authentic sugar bush in April 2022. Imagine the taste, smell, and feel of all that makes the Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival a tradition, a community event, a fundraiser, and most importantly, an important and proud part of our heritage. The Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival Committee understands that McCurry is located on Treaty 2 territory, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe Ojibwe and the homeland of the Métis Nation. It is thanks to our Indigenous friends that we enjoy the wonderful gift of maple syrup. Our annual festival aims to facilitate learning and entertainment that helps to honor and respect this fact. The Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival celebrates the local producers, the culture, and the land that dominates this region. McCurry is located at the base of the Manitoba Escarpment and beautiful Riding Mountain National Park.
Welcome to the Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival. My name's Ian Porteous, and I'm here to fill in some time with you guys, showing you a little bit of Canadian culture and some folklore. In fact, a festival. Have you ever thought, what is a festival and why do we have them? Well, I think a festival is a celebration. I think it's time to celebrate the fact that spring has come. It's been a long, cold winter. Wasn't it cold there a few weeks ago? Back in February, man, that was so cold. But we've made it through. And this time of year, during the day, when it's warm outside, above zero, the water starts to move inside of the trees. And then at night, when it freezes, it kind of goes back down. And in the morning, when it warms up, it goes back up and it creates this pump. And for about 3 weeks a year, the water, which is the groundwater, is moving up into the trees. And that water is actually, if it comes from a tree, it's called sap. And we can tap these trees. And it makes for such an awesome celebration. The celebration of the return of the sun, the celebration of spring, and all that sort of thing like that. So let's do a little explication of why I think we should be celebrating. So there's this concept called the cultural wheel. Can everybody make a wheel like this? Yeah. And if we take that wheel and we split it in half, how many pieces are there? 2. And if we split it in half again, how many pieces are there? 4. So the first part of the cultural wheel is folklore. It's like, why do we do the things that we do? Why are us humans, taking part in festivals like this? Why do we sing the songs? Why do we cook down the maple sap in order to create syrup? It's all of the folklore of what makes us part of our culture. And every culture has its own little interesting tidbits, special recipes and little, dances and songs and customs and the way they dress and that sort of thing. So the first part of the cultural wheel is folklore. And the second part is community. And this is where you come in. Thanks so much for showing up today, because without community, there's no point in expressing ourselves or sharing any of the folklore. And then we have activities. Well, what kind of activities can we do? Well, in this case, there's people that run sugar bushes. They go out into the woods and they drill a hole into the tree and they tap the tree and all the water comes out. And sometimes it takes upwards of 40 gallons of sap in order to boil down into one gallon of syrup. And then, it's time to celebrate. And that's what the festival is all about. The Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival. It's time to celebrate. So, thanks for being here today. And I'm going to kick off this celebration with an awesome tradition that I was taught, and it's very Canadian as well. And it's how to play the musical saw. So let's kick off this awesome festival with a little rendition of O Canada on the musical saw. Thanks for coming around, and we'll see you in another segment right away. All right, it's story time. Are you ready to solve a mystery? Listen carefully, because there's a mystery to be solved in this little story. All right. Once upon a time, there was a hut, long time ago, maybe 150 years ago. And there was a family that lived in this hut. And there was a father who was a mighty hunter. And there was a mother who was a mighty homemaker, and there was children as well. And one day, when Dad was out hunting, the children got into some of his hunting tools. And Mom found out, and she was very, very upset. She was so upset that she took the kids and told them to get out of the hunting room. And she took all of the hunting tools and threw them out the window. There was axes flying through the window, and there was spears and bow and arrows flying through the window. In fact, one of the axes flew so far that it actually hit a tree. Meanwhile, several hours later, it was time to prepare dinner. But there was a problem. The problem was that there was no water. And Mom needed some water in order to make her famous stew. So she said, "Kids, I need you to head down to the river to get me some water." Well, the kids headed off down to the river. But on the way there, they noticed that there was a canoe leaning up against the tree that was full of water. And the little girl said, "Why do we need to go all the way down to the river when there's water in this canoe? Mom will never know the difference. Let's just take the water from the canoe." So they filled their bucket full of the water that was in the canoe rather than going to the river. And they brought it back to Mom, and Mom said, "Wow, how did you get this water so quickly?" And they decided to keep their little secret. And they said, "Oh, well, we just got the water for you." So she started cooking the stew. And she was adding all sorts of good things to it. She was adding roots and vegetables and all sorts of secret spices. She was stirring it and stirring it all day long. Finally, when Dad came home at supper time, they all sat around the table and they took their turns eating the soup. And Dad took this big soup ladle, put it up to his mouth. He went, "Oh, what's with this soup? This is the best soup I've ever tasted. Your soup never tastes like this. This is the best thing that's ever happened." And he looked to his kids. He said, "What? How is it that this soup tastes so great?" And the kids looked up and said, "I don't know." And he asked his other kid, "Why does this soup taste so good? What did you guys do differently?" And the kids were like, "I don't know." And he asked his wife, "What did you do to make this soup taste so good?" And his wife said, "I didn't do anything. The kids went down to the water and brought me the water, and I used that in the soup." And the kids were all sitting there going, "Oh no, oh no, oh no." What do you think happened? Did you figure out the mystery? Why does the soup taste so good? Got it figured out? The tree that the canoe was leaning up against was the same tree that the axe had hit when Mom threw the tools out the window. When the axe hit the tree, the sap started to flow and it filled up the canoe. And that's how maple syrup was discovered, by accident. There you have your little story. I hope you solved that mystery before I told it to you. Anyway, now you know where the maple sugar comes from.
If you have not already guessed, we're on the way by horse and wagon to the gas sugar bush nestled alongside the Riding Mountain National Park. Dating back hundreds of years, maple syrup was one of the earliest food crops produced in North America. Indigenous people began the practice of tapping trees long before Europeans arrived in Canada. Today, there are several maple syrup producers in our area who, along with a group of volunteers, were instrumental in starting the festival 9 years ago. Bob Gass and Claude Desrosiers realized the potential for maple syrup production in the McCurry area in the 1980s. Bob, owner-operator of Manitoba Maple Syrup, learned that the local indigenous families were tapping the Manitoba maple or box elder trees in the Lake Manitoba area. He combined his family traditions of tapping the sugar maple tree in New Brunswick with that of the indigenous people to create a maple syrup business in McCurry, Manitoba. Claude, owner of Yummy Stuff Maple Grove, remembers his start with makeshift outdoor stoves and pans. Today, Claude continues to produce many Manitoba maple products, including delicious maple butter, yummy stuffed taffy on snow, and visits to the gas sugar bush are the heart of the annual festival. The origins of the practice of making maple syrup from sap are steeped in legend. One legend tells of a woman who was cooking mousse for her husband when her boiling pot ran out of water, so she refilled it with maple sap. The boiled down sap formed syrup in the pot and sweetened the meat. Another legend tells of a chief who threw his tomahawk into a tree, accidentally making the sap run. This happy accident might have established a culinary technique of maple cured meats and was a food preservation method practiced by Anishinaabe that allowed communities to keep food stores for winter months when food was scarce. Sap was made into syrup using different methods. Some left the sap out in the cold and threw away the frozen water that separated from the sugary syrup. Others boiled the sap down to syrup by adding hot rocks to the birch bark pots or boiled the sap in clay or metal kettles over a fire. At its most basic level, the process of producing maple syrup has not changed much from the original method used by the early indigenous peoples. We are now heading to make maple syrup with Claude de Rosier.
This is a healthy maple tree, and it should provide plenty of sap. It has a big crown, which helps a lot. So, the economical way of doing this is to use milk jugs. That's what I do. And with my jackknife, in the shoulder of the jug, I carefully cut a round hole about the size of a nickel. Just like that. Then I have a special drill, gas powered, and the bit is 7/16 of an inch. That is required, and it is set to drill 2 inches deep. Now, I will start it. I hope it'll cooperate. Plugs in. One up again. Always does. There we go. So, I drill a hole. Can you get that? Can you see the sap running? Coming out, okay, come and see. See?
Oh yeah.
And then I have these plastic spiles. I put the spile in there and hammer in gently so it won't split the wood. And then we have the sap dripping. Mildly sweet. And then I simply button on my milk jug, and I'm in business to collect sap. On a good day like today, this jug could be full by noon.
The way it's dripping in there right now, I can hear it, and it's going to be full by in a couple of hours for sure. So how many of these trees do you have?
This year I limited myself to 300 taps. In past years I used to do several hundred, in fact 1,000 or more.
Well, as you say, you're by yourself now, and
Yeah.
and you are getting a little older.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you for this. That's great. So that's what you collected in, is it?
Yes, it's a big funnel and with a cheesecloth filter because there tends to be bits of bark or whatnot in the sap. All right?
Good.
My knees are sore from all my exertions yesterday. And I take a pail and come along. And a little bit of dribble, but my time is precious, so good. And I pour it in here.
And you do that to, how often do you have to do that to each of the 100 trees, or
Every day.
300?
Now you see some spare jugs. For instance, right here. Here's a jug that has filled to here since this morning. So I will come along and exchange it for an empty jug. I set this one down, and at the end of the day I might have two jugs here, one on the ground and one on the tree.
So what time of the day is the majority of the sap running? Is there one time of the day that you get more sap than another?
On a day like this, ideal conditions, the sap will run strong at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and it'll run through the afternoon, and it will run strong till 5 o'clock or so, and then as the temperature falls, it just tapers right off and stops flowing at night. You hear the sap trickling in?
I'm here with Claude Desrosiers in his sugar shack, and he's going to sort of walk us through the evaporating process that takes place in the production of maple syrup. Tell us a little bit about this production, Claude.
All right. Okay. The sap is in an elevated tank outside, and we'll see that later. And it comes in through a hose here, which is covered to keep it from freezing in the night. And it enters a little compartment here where there's a float that controls the level of the sap in this larger part of the evaporator. The evaporator, as you might be able to see, has these channels down across the bottom, and down below is a stove, wood fire.
Oh, just
Bottom of this larger pan, where there's where the sap is going to boil, there are these stripes that you see here. They are really called flues, and the heat from the fire below here, the wood fire, is directed into these flues, and the sap is around the flues, so there's a whole lot of exposure to the heat. Now from here, the bulk of the water here is boiled off, and then through this valve I allow the sap to trickle into the front compartment of the evaporator here, and in this part it becomes more and more concentrated. Over on the other side there's a thermometer that reaches into this compartment, and when the thermometer reads a few degrees above 100, then I know I am beyond water. The concentration of sugar is getting pretty high. So periodically I will open a valve here and drain very slowly, just a trickle, through a paper and Orlon filter. So that filter removes the mineral that accumulates in as the evaporation takes place. What goes away is pure water. What stays behind is sugar and the minerals that are in the sap. And we want to retain the sugar, but this filter will remove the excess of minerals that are in the soil and make their way into the sap.
So what we have basically here is we've got the first evaporator with the flues in it is getting rid of the majority of the water,
That is right.
and then you trickle it into this other evaporator, which further concentrates it,
That's right.
and then coming into here, you've got almost maple syrup,
Almost. Yes.
and we'll show them where you take it to actually
That's right.
finish it up a little bit
There's
later.
There's another finishing step where it's refined with a hydrometer, and you'll see that in a moment.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds great.
This is real efficient. This pours up the heat.
The maple trees that aren't good enough to make syrup, we burn them.
Well, yeah, maple trees tend to fall over when they get to a certain size. Then they become firewood.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, there's the elevated tank that feeds into the evaporator. And the sap is pumped up there with this sump pump, which is dedicated only to this service, pumping sap.
So you take the sap that you get directly from the trees, and you put it up into that pump so that you've got gravity feed into your evaporator.
That is correct.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And over in this building, I have 1,000-liter tank for storage when this tank is not sufficient.
Oh, I
And
see.
Right now, there's probably 400 or 500 liters of sap in there, waiting to also be pumped up to this tank
And you
here.
were telling me this has been so far. It's been a pretty good year for sap.
The conditions are perfect
Yeah.
so far. We have nights that are sufficiently cool, and we have days where the temperature rises but doesn't get too hot. We want 4, 5, 6 degrees of frost at night, and we like to have 4, 5, 6 degrees above zero during the day. And those are ideal conditions. And I hope they last a while yet. At this rate of boiling, I can process about 25 gallons of sap per hour.
25 gallons. What's the ratio of sap to actual syrup?
It starts at about 50 to 1 in the early days. The early sap is
Yeah.
50 to 1. And as the season gets on, the sugar content rises, and it may go as high as 3.5% sugar.
I see.
And at 3.5% sugar, we're getting about 35 to 1,
Yeah.
33 to 1.
So you do 25. Right now you're doing 25 gallons an hour,
Approximately.
and that would give you half a gallon of actual maple syrup.
That is correct. Yes.
It certainly is evaporating now.
And the way the cupola up there opens up, it sort of creates its suction from the heat of the stove, and
Yeah. Takes the steam out.
that's right.
People will think your shack is on fire with all the steam coming out of it.
I think people are accustomed to seeing steam rising from here. Here is in its final stages. Syrup, the Canadian standard is 66% sugar. And that is done with a special hydrometer that will test the sugar content in the syrup. So to do that, every once in a while, I fill this cup And I lower my hydrometer into it, and the hydrometer is not even floating at this point. Eventually, as the concentration of sugar increases, the hydrometer will float. And there's a red mark, and when it floats up with that red mark at the surface, then we have 66% sugar, and that is pure Canadian Manitoba maple syrup. But this batch has
A little ways to go yet.
a ways to go yet, that's for sure. Yeah. But we'll let it percolate, and we're losing water, and the sugar concentration is increasing.
Is going to explain to us a little bit about what the process he's going through now. Tell us a little bit about this, Claude.
Two of the products that we make besides maple syrup itself, we make maple butter, which is very popular, and maple jelly. Today I'm going to prepare a small batch of maple butter. First of all, it will go into jars. I am going to sterilize the lids in hot water here. And here I have some maple syrup, which is being heated to 235 degrees Fahrenheit. That will take a moment yet. The oven is turned on, and in the oven my 190 milliliter jars are being sterilized by the heat of the oven. So I just have to wait for this syrup to reach the proper temperature. Okay, the syrup has reached the required temperature, and I will, in the bowl here I have 1 pound of unsalted butter.
Explain to us the significance of the 235 degrees or whatever it was.
It brings the syrup to a stage where it will solidify. In fact, it will turn to sugar if
I see.
it just cooled off.
So if you were just making maple sugar, you would bring it to that state and then cool it?
And yes, there it's, besides cooling, it has to be stirred as it cools.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you've got a pound of butter, and how much syrup did you put in there?
2 2/3 cup.
2 2/3 cups.
Yes. And I will try to prevent some splashing as I start out. This has to stir for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be patient. Okay. Now, here's where a steady hand comes in handy.
It's still very hot, I take it, is it?
It's really hot, yes. There's a pound of butter that was mixed in. That cools things off. So, after doing many hundreds, I've become rather adept at this. Of course, it will solidify and become, it'll have the consistency of good fudge. Not quite a jar, but we'll take what it gives. There.
That's for the host's breakfast.
Now, down go the lids.
What's the shelf life of this butter? Is it anything like the sugar? Like does or not the sugar, but I mean the syrup will last a long time, right? I mean,
It has to be kept refrigerated, and for a long keep, I keep it in the freezer.
oh yeah,
This one, well, was in the fridge, but it had been in the freezer a good while, and in the freezer, I think it'll keep a long, long time.
Yeah.
It must not be at room temperature because of the unsalted butter
yeah.
in there, which of course needs to be refrigerated. There.
Beautiful, beautiful. Another product of the
Then-
what do you call your outfit?
Oh, there's a story that it came from our children. It became yummy stuff.
Yummy stuff.
Because that's how they identified it, and we stayed with that. And
This is
there
yummy
it is.
stuff.
This is yummy stuff.
Oh yeah. But what's the name of the company? Like what's your brand name on it? Never.
Yummy
Oh,
stuff.
just yummy stuff is your.
Yes.
I see. I thought the yummy stuff was for the maple butter, but that's your product
everything.
is yummy stuff.
The title's maple butter here. On other labels,
see.
it will be maple jelly
Yes.
with the contents.
Yes,
And then the maple syrup is also yummy stuff.
I see. Oh, I see.
And our maple syrup label says that this contains only the boiled down sap of the Manitoba maple tree.
Pretty pure.
It is.
Like you haven't added a lot to it, have you?
The only time that there's anything but the maple syrup is
When you add some butter to it or something like that, but
also in the maple jelly. The gelling agent is called Genugel.
oh yeah.
The process there is heating 3 liters of syrup to boiling, and then adding a very little of this Genugel. In fact, a teaspoon and a half in 3 liters of syrup, and then it's brought to 6 degrees above boiling, and then it's very firm jelly. Clear jelly, which is basically pure maple syrup with
With a little bit of gel added.
just a smidgen of this gelling agent. And this is a powder. It's made from Irish seaweed.
Oh, yeah. Terrific. Thank you very much.
That went well. Having prepared the syrup this morning, because it takes a long time to bring it to 235, a real long time.
So you actually had it on the stove for a while to get it.
So I took a head start this morning.
Well, we want to thank you for this. The whole day. It's just been great, and I realize that it's your busy time, and we appreciate you taking a couple of hours out of your busy day to show us around and help us to make this little documentary.
It's always a pleasure for me to show this to people. You know, the Manitoba maple syrup is a great product, and if more people did this, it would be
Quite an industry.
It could be an industry for the province, because maple trees are everywhere, and they produce a very fine product.
Yeah. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
We're here with Rosanna Desjarlais at her home in Bacon Ridge to show her maple sugar operation. Rosanna has been doing this for many years. Many years at Sugar Island along Garrick's Creek, and now she does it in her yard on the trees that she and her late husband Frank grew in their yard. This is the teepee that Rosanna and her family set up to boil the maple syrup. The boiling is done for today, but Rosanna is here to talk to us. Hi, Grandma.
Hi.
Rosanna is also my grandma. Tell us how you tap the trees at Sugar Island, Grandma.
We use an axe, a small axe. Then we use chips. And then you put that chip in the bark there, when you make a slit there, and then you put the chip there, and then that's where the water flows from the sap. The sap flows into a little pail. Because before we never used plastic jugs, but now that's what we're using. We use tin pails, because there was no plastic at that time. The first time I went there was around in the 40s, maybe. I was just young, to help my mom. And that's where I learned to do this, to tap trees and do everything. Boil the sap down and make syrup and sugar.
How long do you think your mom was doing that before you started helping her?
What?
How long was your mom doing that before you started helping her? How many years do you think?
Quite a few years, because I remember when I was small, we went there one time, and ice was too thin to come across, so we had to cross a river with a boat. I was just young. I think I was about maybe about 10 years old.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And how long has it been since you tapped at Sugar Island then?
That's about 5 years ago, I think, the last time we went there, because Grandpa was still alive that time, and we tapped a lot of trees. We went with Bernice and Louie and my sister Marie from Bogar.
Okay, and Louie's your brother, right?
Yeah, and then, Louie's my brother, yeah. So Arthur and Andrew, my 3 other brothers used to come and help us. Andrew, Arthur, and Louie. And they used to come and help us. I took a lot of pictures over there from the old camps, because there used to be about 7 camps over there, like these teepees. And a lot of those people live there. That's where they sleep at night.
At Sugar Island?
Yeah.
So would they just bring all their bedding and stuff, like their blankets and sleep?
They put hay. Yeah, they had everything there. Their teepees were big, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your mother's name?
Catherine, but her nickname was No-Nose.
And she's also the one that we see on the CBC special, right?
Yeah, that's the same one. I was there when those guys came and took those pictures, that video. Yeah.
It's nice to see the tradition alive. Does your kids help you now too?
Oh, they do help, all of them. Yeah.
So what's the process for it? Like you tap the trees and collect the sap? And then how much sap does it take before you can boil?
We usually do about 35 to 40 gallons. And then we do get about a gallon of sap from them because it has to be thick, eh?
And is that the pots right there that you use?
Yeah. Like, we use a lot of wood. And those things are my mom used to use at the Sugar Island, these hooks. My mom made those a long time ago. And that's still our pails we're using. I bought new pails, but they're not as strong as the old ones. We're still using these ones. Sometimes there's about, when we have a lot of sap, there's about 15 pails hanging. And then it needs a lot of fire to get it going. And then when it boils over, then we put a pork rind there, a little piece of pork, and then it goes down the boiler, yeah.
So the pork takes the boiling down?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And then you're able to take it off the fire from there? Like the sap from there?
Well, it has to boil at least, we pour it into the big pails.
Mm-hmm.
From the small ones, but that big pail is already in the middle there. There's two other pails hanging on the side. And the small pails, when they boil, so we pour it into the big pail. And that's where it finishes the sugar.
So what's the process from there if you wanted to make the hard sugars, like the candy?
We have to boil it, but we do it inside. You mean the sugar once?
Yeah, like the cubes that you make sometimes.
Yeah. We boil at least another, maybe half an hour. Then we stir it up. It turns into taffy, not taffy, but
It's like a solid cube, eh?
yeah,
So it's a candy?
like a candy, but it's soft. It's not hard. Sometimes I'll make it soft for a spread for the bread.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like a fudge, eh? It doesn't turn taffy. I never make taffy. It doesn't turn into taffy.
I remember that there used to be birch bark canoes, too, that you used to put it in sometimes. Did you make those yourself?
Yeah, I have some that I made, but I never did start my sugar yet. I never had time to do it because I'm like my sisters and my nieces, they come down when we're boiling and I teach them what to do. And all my kids come and help because I have 6 girls, but Denise is in Winnipeg also. She can't come because on account of this sickness that's going around. So Audrey and all the rest of them come. They come and help everything.
Okay. Can we just go out to the tree and we'll look how you tap it out there? Just how you have them hooked up to the tree?
Why, you want to go and look or what?
Yeah, we'll just go out to
But
where the
I
trees
don't
are there.
have a small axe here, because we use a chip about this size, maybe about 2 inches, about 3 inches long.
Oh,
And
okay.
when you make a slit there, when you make like you have to peel the bark a little bit and put that on, that's where the water comes from.
Oh, okay. And you have the little, is it called spigots?
Yeah.
And they're flowing into or out of the trees from that.
Yeah, now we're using old jugs. I get them from the restaurant, and there's another place that I get them from. Those are where they have the slush.
Yeah.
They clean all those and they bring it to me to use.
In the
And
milk,
some
4-liter milk jugs.
Milk jugs, yeah. They wash them good before they bring them in.
Okay, thank you for your time, Rosanna, or Grandma. It's nice to talk to you. Miigwech. We have some pictures here from past years that Rosanna would like to share.
It's those teepees that the people had, because there was about 7 teepees at one time. And these are the ones now, they're all down. Even this bar, that's where they use to put the sap in. And this one, somebody had a little shack over there with a bed. And this is my mom's teepee. That one is still standing. That skeleton is still standing up. And that's me and my brother, Arthur. When we went to the island about 5 years ago, we started off boiling outside, then kind of made a little teepee after where we could boil. And this is my husband, Frankie. He made sure that there was always lots of wood. And this is me and my husband, Frankie, and my sister, Virginia, and me standing there. And this is my brother. And no, this is Frankie, and this is Louis, I think, yeah. I have a lot of pictures from years, but I can't find the other one that I was going to put there of my grandma. Because years ago, they didn't have very much to use around the teepee, so what they did was use bark. They peel a dead tree, and peel the bark there and put it around the teepee. And whatever they had, like flower sacks, they just put them around because there was nothing to use. I remember my grandma telling us, like her mommy used to go there, so it must have been quite a lot of years, because I know a guy that was born in Sugar Island, and that guy he passed away about 30 years ago. It could have been around 89. And that time, they were already tapping trees. So that's a lot of years.
We'd like to thank Rosanna for allowing us at her home and showing us her sugar operation here in her yard.
Yeah, I'm very glad you came.
Miigwech.
For the young ones to see, because I'll be 90 years old in October. That's why I'm trying to quit.
Thank you.
Manitoba maple, which is also known as box elder, produces sap which can be boiled down to make an excellent tasting syrup. Please welcome Bob Gass in the sugar bush as he explains this process.
Good afternoon. I'm Bob Gass, and I'm in the sugar bush. Justin and I are tapping a few trees. We've got Mo here helping us out, keeping us safe. This is a typical Manitoba maple, and this is what we're tapping today. We've tapped about, 500 trees today, something like that. So, a lot of people ask me how I started in maple syrup. Well, I got to say, when I was a very young boy, my grandfather took me tapping in New Brunswick. And then later years, my dad had a sugar bush. As far as I know, our family's been making maple syrup in New Brunswick since about the 1880s, 1890s. And we just carried on the tradition. box elders or Manitoba maple are a little different tree than the sugar maple we have in New Brunswick. We started tapping here in this bush about 35 years ago or so. I understand that traditionally, I'm told by some of the older residents that our indigenous friends and neighbors tapped these bushes back hundreds of years ago, potentially. But we're carrying on that tradition, and we have a little fun with it every year. We got a little festival going, but it's really a hobby, and we tap about 2,000 trees ourselves, and we sell it through gift stores and health food stores. But mostly it's a labor of love. We enjoy the hobby, we enjoy doing it, and we make lots of maple syrup, and Justin and Amanda are good enough to come out here and help me, or otherwise I couldn't do what I do. So thank you for watching our little video, and call us if you need some advice. During the sugar season, you can't get me unless it's after dark. So, because I'm in the bush the rest of the day. So thank you so much, and follow along. Welcome to our sugar bush. We're going to take a little walk through the bush. I'm keen to see how deep the snow is and how muddy the trails are. So here's a couple of big trees. I don't know how old these trees are, but my suspicion is probably 130, 140 years, I'm guessing. I have counted the rings in the odd stump occasionally, and they claim, some people say they only live to be 100 years old or 80 years old, but I found trees in here that are quite big and are well over 100. So those are about as big as they get. So we tap these trees obviously every year, and we expect in 2 years' time that the tap holes will close in completely. After 1 year, this tree got 2 taps last year. After 1 year, we expect to see them, instead of being round, we expect to see them kind of oval shaped. So this is typical of what we're looking at after 1 year. Come on in, have a look close up. This is the top hole, and there's the bottom hole, and these are probably tap holes from a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 or 4. And I can see a hole here, an old one there, one there, one there. They're completely healed over. So any part of the tree that's drilled into that is sapwood and still living, it closes in completely. So any part of the tap hole that goes into the heartwood is living, but it doesn't regenerate. So those holes will stay in the center of the tree permanently. But they may be several inches into the center of the tree. The hole doesn't come out. The tree is small, it keeps growing out, and that hole stays in the center. Okay. Once it's in the heartwood, it doesn't affect the health of the tree. It's not living anymore. I enjoy coming out here and looking at the birds and the squirrels and the animals. This is an American elm that died a few years ago. I left it standing even though it's dead, because the pileated woodpeckers, they come in here, they drill holes to make nests, and this is typical of what a pileated woodpecker will do. Eventually he'll go up there and make these big holes, and then the other birds come and colonize that. And we actually have a few bees too. The bees will colonate these trees. I've got one hive at least that I know of, just naturally. This little tree here is a small American elm, and this is a favorite for the white-tailed deer and the elk, and you can see all the brush marks. So the deer come out here and they shine their own horns up on these little saplings about that size. So when you see that in the woods, that's not my fault. That'll be a white-tailed deer, and elk will be much higher. And that was last fall. This is a unique tree. It's a Manitoba maple, but it grew up from an old stump. So what's happened here, it grew up from here and it had to reach down for the water. And so as the old stump rotted away, this tree was all of a sudden kind of like on legs. So it had to reach down. So it formed a very large burl where the root base should have started. This should be the earth's level, but because it started probably high up on an old stump. But look how big it is. It's probably 80 years old, I have no idea. but it did well. They're a pretty hardy tree, those Manitoba maples are. This Manitoba maple we've been tapping for many years, and it's definitely receding. But this is, I would say, the largest Manitoba maple we have on our property here. And I'm going to estimate that it's about 34 inches in width. I can't reach around it, you know. So it's for Manitoba maple, it's a very big tree. It's got a few burls on it, a few old scars. You see one here, but for Manitoba maples, that's about as big as they get. We're going to tap this Manitoba maple. I'm going to drill into the tree, into the sapwood, about 1.5 inches. The drill has to be up about a 5-degree angle. So this is a good spot right here. So we drilled in about 1.5 inches. I've got it marked with electrical tape. We just put the spout in. We just tap it in lightly to get it tight. You can hear the sound changing. That means that it's tight. I'll have a lid, Justin, please. Thank you, Justin. So we just put the lid in like this, and that's all there is to it. So we're out on a beautiful day on the 20th of March. The sap is running. We're just putting our pails out. This is a typical Manitoba maple tree, and let's see if there's any sap running. We're going to know right away. Okay, it's going to take a little minute. I'm going to give the pails to Justin. Yes, can you see the sap, Amanda? It's just coming.
Oh, wow.
Justin, can I have the hammer here? Oh, lots of wows. Oh. There we are. On a nice big maple, we like to put a couple extra spouts up. I'm looking for a, let's call it a river of sap. So I can see by the way the tree is growing, there's going to be sap running right here. So this is a second spout.
How
The
far
little
do you have to go in?
An inch. We like to tap the trees about 1.5 inches in. There's no critical depth, but if you tap too deep, you're just going to lose a little sap to the hardwood. If you go deep enough, then the spouts are only made to go about this deep in, about 1.25 inches. So 1.5 inches gives you a little bit of wiggle room. Since we know this has always been a really good tree here, so we're going to put another one in right there. Justin, can you put a pail on it and a lid? There we go. Now we're ready for some maple sap. Yeah. This tree was blown down last year in a big windstorm. We tapped this tree for many years, and well, it's finished now. It's firewood. But when the trees are thick like this, they choke out some of the weaker ones. That's what's happened. This tree kind of went dry, you can see, and it died. So that's the end of it. So when you're looking for Manitoba maples, that tree right there in front of us is typically an American elm. We don't tap those. And they grow in the same places, same areas as the Manitoba maple. So when you look at that, it's kind of wild, but they typically branch out about 20 feet out, just like that one there does. So you know that that's an elm, no sap. Okay? Where some of the trees I'm looking at here this way, There's some big maples there. They're kind of crooked. Limbs are close to the ground. Those are Manitoba maples. There's one right here. This one right here is kind of straight and it goes up taller. That's an ash. That's a green ash. So those are the trees you typically see in a sugar bush, a natural sugar bush. And of course, you know what poplar are like. Sometimes you get poplar, not so much. Yeah.
And now we have a musical treat for you. It is a family band, and they are the Campbell Family Band. Eldon Campbell is a well-respected Métis fiddler here in Manitoba. He was one of the fiddlers featured in Ann Letterman's Old Native and Métis Fiddling in Western Manitoba recording project from 1986, an album that had profound effect on other fiddlers like North American Fiddlers Hall of Famer Patty Kostrook, where she was growing up. Eldon has played at several Manitoba maple syrup festivals over the years. It's always wonderful to hear Eldon play, and the festival is excited that Eldon agreed to host a kitchen party for our virtual show. Eldon started playing guitar at age 10 and then the fiddle at age 13. The first tune learned to play was Don't Be Cruel by Elvis on a fiddle purchased for the family for $9.95 from the Eaton's Mail Order catalog. Eldon had uncles from both sides of the family to listen to, chord for, and learn from. He still loves to play for jamborees, old-time dances, and the organ for church. When I retire, I will have my son Cameron to listen to as well as several grandchildren. During the Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival virtual show, Eldon's wife Audrey, son Cameron, nephew Gary, grandson Campbell, and the granddaughters Alexis and Desiree join him to sing, play, and dance to the music. Thanks so much, Eldon, for sharing your home and music at this year's Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival.
And Gary, and we're going to be doing some tunes for you and some songs. It's a family thing. We're going to play some kitchen music for you and have some dancing, and this is for the Maple Sugar Festival. So we're going to start off with one called Maple Sugar, one of the most common tunes played. It's played by, composed by Ward Allen. So here we go, Maple Sugar. Here's a similar tune composed by the same guy. It's called Back to the Sugar Camp. It's almost like maple sugar, but different.
Is it in D?
Indeed, this time. This tune we're gonna feature my grandson Campbell Orvis on the mandolin. We're just gonna take a break on this one.
Bring that seat there. What gear are you in there?
It's one called Romeo's First Change.
Plug in the mandolin? Oh yes, yeah.
We'll just do some adjusting here.
Right, Campbell? Okay.
Romeo's First Change. Here's one called Big John McNeil. Okay, before Campbell puts that mandolin away, we're going to do a Andy Jarvis tune called Surveyor is Real.
That's in what chord?
Key and F. Key of F. Key and F.
Wait 1 second. What's the other chord?
B minor, maybe, or G. Okay, we're gonna get somebody else to do something here. Who's next? Who's up?
Okay, you can take that one. Just take the whole thing.
Move over to that side here. Good.
Yeah, they can edit this part out. I'm gonna sit on that side on that couch.
Okay.
Because I want to lean forward and I can't lean forward.
Oh, yeah. You sing now?
Yeah.
There's a mic here. Just throw it on the chair there. I'll see you. Whatever you want, Ma.
Are you sitting or standing?
So she's sitting on beside you there.
Okay, this is my wife Audrey, of 50 years, of 50 years coming November.
Oh.
And she's gonna sing like she did when she was a teenager. She still has the voice. What did you do then?
GA.
Heartbreak USA.
Oh, it's right. What chord are you singing in?
And second fiddle at this
Yeah, you're starting with down, I thought.
I'll bring the other one, second fiddle. I forget the words, but I think I sang it in G, Cameron.
You're in G, yeah.
It'll go to C and then back to G.
Okay.
I'll play second fiddle, and you just was wild about. Just like all the others I played for in the past. Why can't I be a leader and play the leading part? Why must I always have to play second fiddle in your heart? Play, fiddle, play. Will there never come a day when I won't have to play the part second fiddle in your heart? Each time you find a new love, you're leaving here to cry. The teardrops tell a story of the love that just won't lie. And like the morning paper, the news forget just right. Why must I always have to play second fiddle in your heart? Play, fiddle, play. Will there ever come a day when I won't have to play the part second fiddle in your heart? Play, fiddle, play. Will there ever come a day when I won't have to play the part second fiddle in your heart? When I won't have to play the part of second fiddle in your heart. That's an old song. I'll just sing another one and get it over with.
Get it over with.
She wants to do one more and get it over with. Let's do this thing.
I'm gonna play Kitty
I
Waltz.
can't read that from here.
Heartbreak USA.
Okay.
Chord is that it?
Try D.
Better put the highs up on or
I did already.
more. And put the low end down.
Yeah, I did.
And the volume can go down.
Can I stand and sing it?
It is loud.
Come on, let's.
It's okay if she sings into it, but she tends to. Yeah. Okay.
But I'm gonna sing. The arbor's empty, my love has gone. With aching heart I feel so stay and lonely heart. And tell the Don't let the ski girls get your heart in a whirl. And if you need some sweet for love, remember your mind. Don't forget your sweetheart while you're away. Back home in Heartbreak, USA. Sometimes I'm lonely, and times stand still. And I wonder if you feel the way I always will. So darling, write me letters every day. Take care of Heartbreak, USA. Don't let these geisha girls get your heart in a whirl. And if you need some sweet for love, remember your mind. Don't forget your sweetheart while you're away. Back home in Heartbreak, USA. Back home in Heartbreak, USA. Thank you.
Wow.
Hey, girl, Audrey.
I forget the words.
Okay.
I have to use
We got more singers?
too old, eh?
You sing
Come on,
next.
Did you
girls.
find one or no? Oh. Okay. How about I'll play a fiddle tune then and we'll change off
Okay.
Okay,
while we're waiting for the girls to.
all right, here we go.
Put the guitar on this side then. Don't move. Sit down.
We'll sing this one after.
Here's one in G. What Johnny play?
Hmm?
What'd you say?
What are you doing?
Oh, G. I'm not sure of the name. D. Sorry. I knew the name. You can correct me as soon as you know it. Whoa. also say thanks to the committee for having us do this event. And we would have much rather be live, but unfortunately due to COVID,
Trying to stay alive.
we're trying to stay alive. And
That's a good joke.
yeah. Okay, I'll try. I'm gonna try this one that I learned from my good friend. It's I think it's called Joe Hool Road.
That tune is written by Dave Chokin.
You ready, girls? Yeah. Okay, I'll trade you back again. I'll lift those
I'm
up
gonna
here.
move anyway. But
Okay. First.
you can introduce the girls.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, don't move it too hard. It's set. This is Alexis Campbell, my daughter.
Got your song ready?
And my niece, this is Sandra Orvis's daughter, Desiree Orvis.
Your mom.
Hello.
I don't know what your mom is.
Hello.
Oh yeah, she talks to you. What are you singing first?
I heard the bluebirds sing.
Did you find a mic stand or no?
A.
Did you find a mic stand or no?
No.
Okay, okay.
Bluebirds sing, sing, wondering if
How old are you, Desi?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 at the end of the month.
Don't be scared to hold it, like when she's singing or whatever, just hold it right near. No,
No.
of course not.
Jacqueline is the wife. That's good.
What gear do you do?
Don't you remember this?
Just a pull on your hand.
I see it.
Good then. What else we got? What are we gonna sing? Of course, you draw a blank here.
Edit this little part out.
Yeah.
Okay. Do that one.
I don't know the lead though. Oh, listen, how about that one by Country Tigers? you said, or no?
No, just sunshine. This is fine.
Okay. I'll try that one next show. I drew a blank, so I'll think of one after this one. If I could be anyone that I wanted to be, I'd be me, just loving you. If I could go anywhere, see what I wanted to see, I'd see me, just loving you, loving you, loving you, just loving you. Like there's one song that I can have on wish on tonight, feel alright, just loving you. Take it away. As long as you say that you'll be mine, and that we never will part, your days will be filled up with sunshine. I'll have this song in my heart. If I could be anyone that I wanted to be, I'd be me, just loving you. If I could go anywhere, see what I wanted to see, I'd see me, just loving you, loving you, loving you, just loving you. Oh,
Well, you could probably turn the acoustic right down.
I'll give him this one. I'll give him the plug-in cord first. Yeah, I can put it on here. As usual, I never thought of another song yet. Actually, I want to try this one here. I never sang it for quite a while, this one. It's called Everything That Glitters Is Not Gold.
Well, one of my favorite songs.
This one's for my dad. Saw your picture on a poster in a cafe out in Phoenix. Guess you're still the sweetheart of the rodeo. As for me and little Casey, we still make the circuit in a one-horse trailer and mobile home. She still asks about you all the time, but I guess we never even cross your mind. But then sometimes I think about you and the way we used to ride on, and the rhinestones and the sequins, like the sunlight on your hair, and all the crowd will always love you. As for me, I've come to know that everything that glitters is not gold. Well, already he's getting older, and my Saturdays done. Little Casey, she's still growing, and she started asking questions. But there's certain things a man just doesn't know. Her birthday came and you never even called. But I guess we never crossed your mind at all. But then sometimes I think about you and the way we used to ride on, and the rhinestones and the sequins, just like the sunlight on your hair. And all the crowd will always love you. As for me, I've come to know that everything that glitters is not gold. Everybody said you'd make it big someday, but I guess that we were only in your way. But someday I'm sure you're gonna know the cause for everything that you win. There's something lost. And then sometimes I think about you and the way we used to ride on, and the rhinestones and the sequins, just like the sunlight on your hair. And all the crowd will always love you. As for me, I've come to know that everything that glitters is not gold. Oh, everything that glitters is not gold. I walked it on the camera. That's a song I never did for quite a while. Maybe I sweat a little. Oh, I'll be honest with you. I got one more that I'm thinking of right now. This one here involves very, very high notes.
What do we do for that?
So, family show, guys, family show. Here's one called Blue Ridge Mountain Girl. Start off in G. It's so cold here in Chicago. Wind can cut you like a knife. Another day, another dollar. What a way to spend your life. She was young and I was restless. I set out to win the world. Said goodbye to my Virginia and my Blue Ridge Mountain Girl. And I could see her standing by the window, and there's nothing sadder in the world than those green eyes already come crying on my Blue Ridge Mountain Girl. In my hand I hold my, said she made it pretty bright as I lay here in the darkness. She lays by another side. I got money in my pocket, silver rings that I wear, but I trade them all this minute Just as we rehearsed that one.
It's exactly how we rehearsed it.
Why don't we get the couple jiggers up here?
Okay,
Why don't we get the phone first?
get the phone first. Where are they going to jig? Right here?
I think right here somewhere. Yeah, you can play right there if you want. Or you can play right here and I can move over
I
there.
can move over to this one. That'd be in the scene here.
Okay. There we go. Got this fire all over it.
Okay, this is another. This is a couple of my granddaughters, Desiree, Lexi. You do 3 changes of the Red River jig. Because
Lots to go right, yeah.
yeah, you won't see your feet there because of this thing.
It's fine. They can see the beat.
Is that 3? I don't know.
Yeah, turn up your fiddle a little bit, or did you turn it down? I think I turned it right down. Probably good.
Yeah, do you want to do a couple of 7 steps or something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, they're going to do a 7-step, 4-step, and what else? We'll do a 7-step anyway.
Yeah, this way.
Ready? step. Thank you, ladies.
Here, put this there for Grandpa. Here, pass it here, Grandpa. That's the drink.
What is that?
Yeah.
And move in a little bit there, Dad. So you can see it.
It's like this, like that.
Yeah, so you can see
What
it.
are we doing now?
Whatever you want to do. We can,
I'm going to do one. This is a Ward Allen tune, also called Mountain Girl.
we're featuring Ward Allen songs like today. Is that an A?
This is Ward Allen night.
Is that an A?
A.
Okay.
A. Oh, man.
You got one more there, Dad?
Yeah, I got, I'll do a, this is an old foxtrot that was written by Shelton Brooks, and the other one was written by Ray Henderson. The first time is Dark Town Starter Ball, and the second one is 5'2", all in G.
How long would we have to?
Oh, we'll go a little longer with all the breaks we took. Like we had a break there back an hour. Do a couple songs on the bass fiddle tune and then we'll be.
Okay then. Every time I go to sing, I start coughing.
Have a little guitar, it'll play longer.
You're gonna play a little guitar.
A little guitar on that.
You're gonna play a little guitar.
See if I got it.
Take your fiddle and plug it in. Or you don't have to.
That's fine.
Take that out of your fiddle and plug it in the back. Might be loud. You might be loud. Turn it down.
It's not a typical Jack Media thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be loud. Which one?
I'll adjust it as we go.
Which one should I sing? Which one should I sing? It's funny, I could sit down and sing, and I can't think of any songs after. You gonna harmonize for that?
Oh my god.
Alright. Ready? No lead there, I guess. Long blonde hair, sky blue eyes, yeah, that brown look is easy to recognize. Tailored dress, a fit so fine, and in answer to the question that's on my mind. Honey, do you love as good as you look? Do you satisfy your man like nobody says you can? Judging from the cover, what love to read? Honey, do you love as good as you look? You could read my mind. You might blush but red slow. And you might come over here instead. I see they brought your jet, and you're about to go. If I don't make my move right now, you may never know. Honey, do you love as good as you look? Do you satisfy your man like nobody says you can? Judging from the cover, what love to read? Honey, do you love as good as you look? Judging from the cover, what love to read? Honey, do you love as good as you look? Judging from the cover, what love to read? Honey, do you love as good as you look? That's pretty darn good. I even threw the lead in there a little. What do you got there now?
Try a little kindness.
Yeah, okay, I'll try that one then. If you see your brother standing by the road with a heavy load from seas he sowed, and you see your sister falling by the way, would you stop and say, you're going the wrong way? You've got to try a little kindness, show a little kindness, just shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then it's overlook the blindness of narrow-minded people, of narrow-minded streets. Don't walk around down and out, let a helping hand instead of doubt. And the kindness that you show every day will help someone along their way. You've got to try a little kindness, show a little kindness, and shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of narrow-minded people, of narrow-minded streets.
I guess I'll play a couple of waltzes and
Okay. Oh boy.
oh, that's a red reverb if I've ever heard any.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a popular waltz. It's called Waltz into the Leaves.
An A or?
Yeah. Lake Waltz by Andy Jarvis. So wind her up, eh?
Yep, good.
Thank them for everything, and play Little Roy's Breakfast for the last two. I usually don't see you. Okay, thank you all for listening to us. Hope you enjoy our music, and we're going to finish off with one called Little Roy's Breakfast. It's a Graham Townsend tuned in D.
From dancing in your kitchen from the Camel Band, we are now going to head over and introduce to you Ian Porteous and his wife, Helena Lewandowski. Ian Porteous is an educator who lives in Ononol with his singer-songwriter partner, Helena Lewandowski, and their children. Ian facilitates learning about Canadian culture using story, dance, and traditional songs to engage the audience. His Cultural Wheel concept program has been used by many schools to assist youth to understand their cultural identity. Ian welcomes all ages to join in this fun and lively portion of the festival. Thanks, Ian, for sharing your enthusiasm, music, and talent at the Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival.
The wooden spoons. You know, all of this festival participation and celebration is good. We can sing and we can dance, but we can also participate with other musical instruments. These are wooden spoons. And this is how we can add a little bit of percussion to whatever song we're playing along. I'm going to go through some patterns here, so watch these patterns. 1, 2, 3, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. 4, we go up the arm. 5, spread your fingers apart like this and scrub over them. Creates the sound of a little triplet. You do that twice, followed by a 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6 is just like number 3, but we move from one leg to the other. Down, up, down, down, up, down. Number 7, count to 7 and stop on the 7th beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 8 is kind of fun and crazy. It's like number 4 up the arm. 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now look, if you don't have any spoons at home, you can just do the same thing just with your hands. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Au clair de la lune, mon ami Pierrot, prête-moi ta plume pour écrire un mot. Ma chandelle est morte, je n'ai plus de feu. Ouvre-moi ta porte pour l'amour de Dieu. Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. Sonnez la matine, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Frère Jacques, dormez-vous. Sonnez la matine, ding, ding, dong, ding, dong. All right, it's time for a Canadiana folk song. Festivals always had music and dancing, and we're going to share a few Canadian folk songs with you today. Not necessarily about maple sugar, but a big part of our Canadian heritage was the logging and the farmers that in the wintertime would often spend times in shanty camps, and they'd be working with chopping down trees so that we can build up our world, you know, like everything, the schools and the houses and the furniture is all built from wood. So it was all taken down by hand with saws and axes for hundreds of years. And so here's a song that describes life in a lumber camp. It's called The Shantyman's Alphabet. But before we start, I'd like to teach you the chorus because it's really fun and I think you can sing along. The chorus goes like this. So merry, so merry, so merry are we. No mortal on earth is as happy as we. Hi dairy, ho dairy, hi dairy down. Give the shanty boys plenty and nothing goes wrong. Okay, so let's just try breaking that down a little bit. So everyone say, so merry, so merry, so merry are we. Try it. So merry, so merry are we. No mortal on earth is as happy as we. No mortal on earth is as happy as we. And then here's the easy part. Hi dairy, ho dairy, hi dairy down. Try it. Hi dairy, ho dairy, hi dairy down. Give the shanty boys plenty and nothing goes wrong. Try it. Give the shanty boys plenty and nothing goes wrong. So like I said, this song is called The Shantyman's Alphabet. So it's pretty easy because we're going to go through all the letters of the alphabet. So let's give it a shot. Here we go. A is for axes, which all of you know. And B is for boys who can use them also. C is for chopping, we do first begin. And D is for danger, we oft times are in. All right, here's the chorus. Let's sing along. So merry, so merry, so merry are we. No mortal on earth is as happy as we. Hi dairy, ho dairy, hi dairy down. Give the shanty boys plenty and nothing goes wrong. E is for echo that through the woods ring. And F is for foreman, the boss of our gang. G is for grindstone, we grind our axe on. And H is for handle, so smoothly worn. Here's your turn to sing along again. So merry, so merry, so merry are we. No mortal on earth is as happy as we. Hi dairy, ho dairy, hi dairy down. Give the shanty boys plenty and nothing goes wrong. I is for iron, we mark all our pine. And J is for jolly boys, always on time. K is for keen edge, our axes we keep. And L is for lice that keeps us from sleep. So merry, so merry, so merry are we. No mortal on earth is as happy as we. Hi dairy, ho dairy, hi dairy down. Give the shanty boys plenty and nothing goes wrong. M is for moss, we chink up our camps. And N is for needle, we mend our own pants. K is for keen edge, our axes we keep. And L is for lice that keeps us from sleep. So merry, so merry, so merry are we. No mortal on earth is as happy as we. Hi dairy, ho dairy, hi dairy down. Give the shanty boys plenty and nothing goes wrong. Q is for quarreling, we do not allow. And R is for rivers, our logs they do plow. S is for sleighs, so stout and so strong. And T is for teams that haul them along. So merry, so merry, so merry are we. No mortal on earth is as happy as we. Hi dairy, ho dairy, hi dairy down. Give the shanty boys plenty and nothing goes wrong. U is for use, we put our teams to. And V is for valleys, we run our roads through. W is for woods, we leave in the spring. So now you have heard all that I have to sing. Everyone, last time, nice and loud. So merry, so merry, so merry are we. No mortal on earth is as happy as we. Hi dairy, ho dairy, hi dairy down. Give the shanty boys plenty and nothing goes wrong. Good job, you guys. Thanks for singing along and celebrating at this awesome Maple Syrup Festival. See you in a bit. Hey, look at this. It's a wooden dancing man. Have you ever seen one of these before? My grandpa gave one to my dad, and then my dad gave one to me. And this is how I actually got this dancing man. It's been in our family for years and years and years and years. And a long time ago, this is the way people gave gifts. They'd make them from wood, carve them with knives. There was no Walmart or Amazon to shop for toys. This would have been your typical toy. And not only is it a toy, but it's a percussion instrument. So here, let me sing a few more French-Canadian folk songs for you. Here's one called Si mon moine. Si mon moine voulait danser, si mon moine voulait danser, un capuchon je lui donnerai, un capuchon je lui donnerai. Danse mon moine, danse, tu n'entends pas la danse, tu n'entends pas mon moulin Lola, tu n'entends pas mon moulin marcher, tu n'entends pas mon moulin Lola, tu n'entends pas mon moulin marcher. You take a wooden board like this and you sit down on it. And it's the board that dances the man. See, you get a little bit of a vibration going, and then you gently bring his feet over. And then you can shake him a little bit this way to make his arms move. Mademoiselle, voulez-vous danser la bastringue, la bastringue? Mademoiselle, voulez-vous danser? C'est pour vous accompagner. Oui, monsieur, je veux bien danser la bastringue, la bastringue. Monsieur, je veux bien danser, c'est pour vous accompagner. Pam, paradam, pam, tam, 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 taradam, tam, pam, pam. All right, let's do another Canadian folk song. This is another fantastic folk song written by the McGarrigle sisters, and it's a song which you may know. It's a song called Log Driver's Waltz. So if you know it, then please sing along on the choruses. We'll do a little, I'll play it in with the fiddle, and we'll do the Log Driver's Waltz. If you ask any girl from the parish around what pleases her most from her head to her toe, she'll say, I'm not sure that it's business of yours, but I do love to waltz with the log driver, for he goes purling down and down the white water. That's where the log driver learns to step lightly, purling down the white water. The log driver's waltz pleases girls completely. When the drive's nearly over, she likes to go down and watch all the lads as they work on the river. When evening comes round, they'll all be in town, and they do love to waltz with the log driver, for he goes purling down the white water. That's where the log driver learns to step lightly, purling down and down the white water. The log driver's waltz pleases girls completely. La 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 la. To please both her parents, she had to give way and dance with the doctors and lawyers and teachers. Their manners are fine, but their feet are like clay. There's none with the style of her log driver, for he goes purling down and down the white water. That's where the log driver learns to step lightly, purling down and down the white water. The log driver's waltz pleases girls completely. La 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 la. I heard some of you guys singing along there. Way to go. Awesome. That's a great song for us to keep alive and teach the next generation. Okay, well, we'll catch you later. See you in a bit. Hey, I wanted to take this time to just teach you another cool French song that's pretty easy to sing along to. Some of you French folks may know it already, but it's just a nice festival kind of wrap-up song in French, and it's all about community, really. And the French word for community is compagnie. Everyone in your compagnie, your community. So this is a song that goes like this. It goes, vive la, vive la, vive l'amour. Vive la, vive la, vive la vie. Vive l'amour, vive la vie. Vive la compagnie. So everybody grab their hand and place it on their heart and say, vive la, vive la, vive l'amour. Means here's to love. And then make a V with your fingers and say, vive la, vive la, vive la vie. That means here's to life. Vive l'amour, vive la vie, and then vive la compagnie. That means here's to our community. And McCurry is a great community, and this is a great festival. So try singing along with me here at the same time. Vive la, vive la, vive l'amour. Vive la, vive la, vive la vie. Vive l'amour, vive la vie. Vive la compagnie. One more time. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amor. Viva la, viva la, viva la vie. Viva l'amour, viva la vie. Viva la compagnie. Now you got something to sing in your car when you do groceries next time, you know? You'll be cruising down the road and you go, viva la, viva la, viva l'amour. And it should make you feel a little better. And it makes me feel better. So, who's ready to dance? It's not a festival unless you dance. This is a song called Sasha, and it's also a dance called Sasha, and it goes like this. Okay, that's how it goes. Now, remember how I started with this? That's the part where you go like this. You pick a partner, which is probably the person sitting beside you, and you point at them like you're kind of a little bit irritated with them. You go like this. Sasha, Sasha, 1, 2, 3. Everyone try that. Sasha, Sasha, 1, 2, 3. And then our right hands go up, and you do like a patty cake, right hand to right hand. You go right, 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 left, 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 both, 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 and then on your lap, legs, legs, legs. And you do that twice. Right, 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 left, 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 both, 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 legs, legs, legs. Then you do a right hand hook. That's swing your partner thing. Ring, ding, ding, dig a ding, 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 all the way around. And then left hand hook. Ring, ding, ding, dig a ding, 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 ding. And then you've got 8 bars to just shake it out. Shake it out. Just shake it up. I've got a special volunteer who's going to come up, and we're going to do a quick little demo of this. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you my wife, Alana Lewandowski. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Bow to your partners and point to your partner like you're really mad at them. Sasha, Sasha, 1, 2, 3. Right hands up. Right, right, right. Left, left, left. Both, both, both. Legs, legs, legs. Right, right, right. Left, left, left. Both, both, both. Legs, legs, legs. Then the right hand hook. Hook your arms together and you go around once. Ring, ding, 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 ding. Hey! Left. Ring, ding, 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 ding. Hey! Now you shake it out. Get it down. Now. If there's more than one of you in the house, then you actually have to go to a new partner now and repeat. All right? So point to your new partner. Sasha. Sasha. 1, 2, 3. Right, right, right. Left, left, left. Both, both, both. Legs, legs, legs. Right, right, right. Left, left, left. Both, both, both. Legs, legs, legs. Ring, ding, 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 ding. Hey! Ring, ding, 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 ding. Hey! Shake it up. Hey, why don't you grab your guitar?
Okay.
And I'll grab the fiddle. And you guys know what to do now, okay? Now you get to dance to a live band right here at the Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival. Here we go. Ready? Thank you so much for coming out to the Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival. It's been a great time. I'm glad I could share some good things with you, and I'm glad that you came out to check it out. So hope to see you next year in real person, real live people at the McCreary site. Hopefully everything will fall into place.
We hope you have enjoyed your day, whether taking part in tree tapping, eating your way up and down a stack of pancakes, or enjoying our indoor and outdoor events. Let's take a wagon out of the bush to say goodbye until we meet again in April 2022 for the 10th Annual Manitoba Maple Syrup Festival. Thanks to all the volunteers that helped prepare, create, and work at the festival. To our major sponsors, the Government of Canada, the Government of Manitoba, 730 CKDM, and the Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries, the official volunteer sponsor for the festival, and all of our local businesses. And a big thank you to Nick Yakimish and Dan Kozak of Canada's National Ukrainian Festival for helping us prepare for this virtual festival and doing all the editing required.